Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Our nation's safety and security are being challenged by our enemies through cyberspace. And as we have seen over the last year, these attacks can lie dormant for many months before being detected and can have devastating consequences on our economy and our way of life. Further complicating these threats is the fact that cyber attacks can be carried out by both state and non-state actors and can be relatively inexpensive to execute. There seems to be limited tools at our disposal that enable us to immediately respond to a cyber attack and hold perpetrators accountable. In many ways, cyber attacks have emerged as a near-perfect weapon against our nation, especially the civilians in our nation. So to both of you, thank you for continuing to provide valuable insight into what steps are needed to strengthen our cybersecurity and to respond appropriately when the attacks are successful. As my colleague from Louisiana, Mr. Higgins, highlighted, I think the best defense is a good offense, but we definitely need both. And the civilian sector needs a stronger defense, but they've got to know what resources are there to help them too. So my first question is for CISA Director Easterly. Director Easterly, this past month was Cybersecurity Awareness Month, and CISA launched their annual effort to educate the public on good cyber hygiene practices and the resources that CISA offers. Numerous members in Congress, including myself, did what we could to amplify your agency's message with our constituents. Things like public service announcements, speaking on the House floor, directing people to your CISA website for further education, speaking to local clubs, including Rotaries and that sort of thing. But what other steps can members take to support CISA's mission in each of our districts? Because, honestly, when I spoke to a local Rotary, there was only one person in that room, and there was a number of folks there that actually knew what CISA was. And, you bring tremendous resources to the table. How can we make America more aware of what you've got?
Yeah. So first of all, thank you very much for your leadership and your support. It's great to have members weighing in on this important issue, so thanks for that. We are the newest agency in the federal government. We're going to have our third birthday here on November 16th. So it's probably not terribly surprising that some folks don't know who CISA is, what CISA is, how to correctly pronounce CISA. But at the end of the day, I do think, sir, we are making progress. And part of that is the help of Congress, but also we have a fantastic field force. We have over 500 people, cybersecurity advisors, protected security advisors out there working with state and local, your constituents, other constituents, and critical infrastructure owners and operators to render assistance to ensure they have the information they need to be able to protect themselves. And so we're going to continue with this campaign. But I agree with you. We need a campaign like Click It or Ticket or Smokey the Bear or This Is Your Brain on Drugs, something that really makes an impact on the American people so that they know exactly what they need to do to protect themselves and to implement multi-factor authentication.
Thank you. To follow up on that, you recently discussed CISA's initial work to map out our nation's primary systemically important entities. And as you know, there are legislative proposals that would require CISA to accomplish this goal, including one authored by Ranking Member Katko and Mr. Garbarino. And I applaud your agency for taking the initiative without Congress having to get involved. However, could you tell me, has CISA run into any obstacles in identifying these entities that are critical to our nation's security, and do you believe legislation would help CISA overcome these obstacles? Is there any way that we can help in that regard?
As I've said, I think it would be very useful to codify systemically important critical infrastructure, or what we call PICEs, primary systemically important entities. But we're going to do that work notwithstanding. We have not hit any obstacles, but I'll tell you, we want to do this right. And so ensuring we have the rigorous methodology to be able to identify these systemically important entities based on network centrality, economic centrality, logical dominance, and national critical functions. That's a tough effort. It's an important effort, but we have to be able to identify them, and then we have to measure how we reduce risk. This can't just be about advising on risk or managing risk. It has to be about reducing risk, and we have to measure what matters, and part of that is being able to articulate those sickies or Pisces in the first principles.
All right, thank you. And in just a couple seconds left, Director Inglis, you know, as I said, I'm very interested and support a great offense.
Gentlemen's seconds have expired.
Okay, thank you, and I yield back.